Valley of Omaha, Nebraska. A 5-inch height advantage for the long, lanky Chavez Jr. Arm length advantage of 3.5 inches. That's huge. Measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. They're fighting a 154-pound weight class. Both people think of themselves as welterweights, but they're fighting tonight as junior middleweights because they weighed in at 150 and 149.5. Rules of the bout with our welterweight ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Julio Cesar Chavez Grover Wiley fight is scheduled for 10 rounds using the rules of the New York State Athletic Commission that you see on your screen. Jim, once again, real quick, the 4 criteria that the judges will use to score each individual round: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense, with a strong emphasis on clean, effective punching. Jim!
And here comes Grover. He was beaten by Dimitri Salita in his last assignment. He called that a decision for Salita's bigger reputation.
But he's lost 4 of his last 5 fights. The only victory coming over Julio Cesar Chavez, who, according to Junior, never trained a minute for the fight and could have been beaten by anyone that night.
Well, boxing is sidelight in Grover Wiley's life. He is something I've never heard of before, a traveling car salesman.
Yes, used and new.
Kind of a consultant, goes into a dealership and shows you how to close. He asked him what the closing technique was, and he held out a piece of paper and said, "Sign here and press hard enough to get through 3 carbons." Sounded good to me, as long as the deal was right. Grover Wiley beat Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. on a night when Chavez Jr. told us, "Hey, Larry would have beaten my dad, Emmanuel would have beaten my dad, anybody in the room would have beaten my dad that night." Kind of poignant because Chavez Sr. quit on his stool, as he made so many opponents do during the height of his brilliant career. Now here's Chavez Jr. And Larry, an entirely different body than his dad. Finally now, after a few years of adjusting, an entirely different style.
All right, he came out, he learned to fight from his father and watching his father, and fought like his father, but his father was about 5'6" or 7, very strong. Here's a tall kid. He's now learning to fight in the style of his body. I want to mention one other thing here, Jim. I can find only one other instance in boxing history, there may be others, in which a father and a son fought the same fighter. Harold Johnson, the former light heavyweight champion, and his father both fought Jersey Joe Walcott, the future heavyweight champion. Walcott knocked them both out in the 3rd round.
Well, Julio Jr. said, "If I don't knock Grover Wiley out, this is a loss. There will be no decision. I am here to avenge my father's loss by KO." Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next contest is brought to you by Top Rank Incorporated and sponsored by Puerto Rico Turismo and La Cerveza Las Vina Corona Extra. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring this bout: Frank Lombardi, Ron McNair, and Robin Taylor. And inside the ring, the referee in charge of the action at the bell, Eddie Claudio. And now from Madison Square Garden, New York, 10 rounds of boxing. This is in the junior welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white, official weight 149.5 pounds. Professional record 30 victories, including 14 knockouts with 9 losses and 1 draw. From Omaha, Nebraska, Grover, the Papio Punisher Wiley. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, his opponent, wearing black trimmed with green and silver, official weight 150 pounds. His professional record, 31 victories, including 24 knockouts with 1 bout even. Damas y caballeros de Culiacan, Mexico, the undefeated Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
One second. Julio. Ok, Grover, I gave you your instruction. Julio, te di tus instrucciones. Quiero una pelea limpia. I want a clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Protégete siempre. Touch him up, and let's get to work.
This fight has the feel of a ritual act of a theatrical revenge.
Including the farewell kiss from Julio Sr. to his son's cheek as he turned around to do this business. Julio Jr. has really begun to fill out like a man, Emmanuel. A couple of years ago, he looked ridiculously boyish in the ring, like such a neophyte, like a 12-year-old with boxing trunks on. But his body is much fuller now. His style is much more settled. He's flat on his feet when he wants to be. He's really starting to look much more like a fighter.
And I like him myself. You know, a lot of guys said, oh, he's just living off his dad's name. But, you know, he's boxing good, and he didn't have an amateur background, so he's getting experience by fighting regular as a professional fighter. And I see him improving a lot.
Only 4 amateur fights. Already over 30.
Well, he didn't really make the decision that he wanted to do it till about 15 or 16. And at that point, rather than to pursue the long amateur career, he basically turned around to the people around him and said, hey, I want to be a pro. That's what Dad was. Let's go ahead and do it this way.
And I understand that his other younger brother, Omar, who was about 17 years old and built more on the lines of Julio Sr., is a tremendous fighter also and a good puncher.
Unbeaten early in his career and just got another knockout down in Culiacan a couple weeks ago. There's a quick uppercut.
One of his dad's favorite combinations. Left hook to the body, then followed by a quick left uppercut up between the gloves.
That left hook to the body was his father's trademark punch, and once again, when you look at Miguel Cotto later on in the main event, you're looking at the fighter that I personally call the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., or excuse me, the Julio Cesar Chavez of his generation, because of his dependence on that punch and the almost entirely body-oriented style.
What's so unusual when you see him doing it, him being such a tall guy and effectively place the left hook to the body, is really a beauty.
Grover Wiley having a couple moments there as he shows that he has come from Omaha to New York to fight. Second time in New York for Grover. He says he loves it. Wiley's got some quickness, and he's got resolve in there. He's going to come forward and fight.
Very nice hook uppercut combination by Chavez.
Yeah, that's his favorite punch. He shoots a left hook to the outside, and he shoots a left hook up through the center.
There's the left hook to the body.
I heard it.
Knowledgeable crowd goes,
yeah,
ooh.
That's it.
Oh. Case in point.
4, 5,
Grover's still trying to catch his breath.
7, 8.
Hammered by that left hook to the body.
Let's go.
7 seconds to go in the round. Wiley is going to get a chance to rest between rounds, but he was really devastated by that one left hook body shot.
Which usually takes much more than a minute
to
get over.
Hard to get away from that punch.
Grover. 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 You're doing real good, all right? You keep banging his arms. Keep banging his arm like you're doing, okay?
Come on, bend your waist. Use your waist a bit more. And straight to the chest also.
Here you see the left hook to the body right here. Well placed. Even though Grover had his hands up, he went right behind the elbows and landed the shot. This is just a follow-up left uppercuts.
what is impressive about Chavez, however far he goes in boxing, which we can't tell from here, is he has a certain poise and presence, unrushed, knows what he can do.
And a lot of it is coming because he's fighting regular. He's fighting on such an often basis. When you do that, things happen instinctively and automatically then. You don't even have to think.
Fighting for a promotional firm that knows how to gradually develop fighters.
That's right, Top Rank. And
brilliant in
Bruce
the way they bring them along.
Bruce Trampler develops and makes superstars out of
All right, assuming he wins this fight, which we all do, is he ready to take on Arturo Gatti should Gatti win his next fight?
I would say yes, because of the physical size difference, and I think the activity level that this kid is. But even though he had a lot of experience, he's been fighting so regular, I think he would beat Gatti.
It's a fascinating matchup because
he's so